Ooh, look at me. I'm Julian.
Anybody that it's got something intelligent, it's got a cool little setup, it's got an interesting personality, and it can sell an interesting conversation, theoretically can start a podcast.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hello, BRAYSON BAGNALL.
I'm back.
You're the comeback king.
BRAYSON's back, bitch.
That was our first double feature.
It was a momentous occasion. Much fun was had by all. Bodily fluids were spilt. Not by us, mind you. Quite enjoyable.
That gives a whole new meaning to the term comeback king.
Yeah. Hey, man, if I wanted my comeback, I'd go to your mother's house.
I can see over there that you've got 8mm on videotape.
Yes.
That's also Joel Schumacher.
It is, and Tigerland. I didn't mean to have a Joel Schumacher trilogy. Otherwise, I'd probably have Batman and Robin there too.
Does that movie have Peter Stormare in it?
8mm?
Yeah. I feel like it does.
I haven't seen it yet, so...
Wow, really?
Yeah, I hope it does. I love
that's
that
really
guy.
cool. Yeah, that's just another one of the classic Nick Cage 90s movies. Yeah, really good. And Peter Stormare was a bit of a classic in the 90s as well, I reckon.
Yeah. I know. Shout out to that one scene in Fargo. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
Now, that's one I haven't seen.
Ah, well, there you go. Well, yeah. I had a feeling, so I didn't want to ruin it.
Firstly, thank you for spending the afternoon with me and then having a chat after a back-to-back movie marathon.
And then I have to, go into work tomorrow and see you again.
Yeah. That'll be our innies, though.
Yeah.
So it'll be like none of this ever happened.
Yeah. Yeah, they have it pretty good when you think about it.
Yeah. Except for that Chris guy. So we, Bagnalson and I, just dipped into the 80s for a little bit, for a few hours, and we watched Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one, and then we watched The Lost Boys, neither of which either of us has seen.
Yeah, we're trying to do the whole watching something we haven't seen before, which is it's kind of my default when I'm picking a movie anyway. I'm like, there's this movie on a streaming service I've seen before. It's really good, but I think I'd rather watch something I haven't seen before. Just feels like a better use of time, really. But, sometimes there's movies you got to go back and watch.
Well, that brings me to one of the questions I wrote on my phone on the way over here. Do you watch Eraserhead regularly?
No.
'Cause I know you're a big fan, and again, I can see it on VHS over there.
I've seen it about 3 times. I am fairly certain the last 2 times I watched it, I was stoned out of my mind. And then the first time I watched it was a double feature, actually. I think I watched it first, and this is back when I was living up in Brisbane before I moved out of home, and I was house sitting for the weekend, and our house was kind of semi-secluded. We had neighbours that were pretty close by, but we lived on the bush basically.
How far out of Brisbane?
Only 20 k's or so, Sanford, Highvale. But, at night it was pretty dark, and, the bush was right there. And I was home alone. And, I watched Eraserhead, and I'm like, oh, this is fucking scary, and don't really have any context for why I thought it was so scary. It was just so abnormal and strange. And then I followed it up with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I guess I did a 70s double feature there, a midnight movie sort of dealio.
What movie did what year did Eraserhead come out?
Oh, I want to say 77, but don't quote me on that.
Okay, you got a guess about when the Chainsaw Massacre came out?
Oh, I think that was 73.
Okay.
I think.
Would the Texas Chainsaw Massacre be considered slasher?
Yeah. I guess so.
Oh, that's another movie I've never seen.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, yeah, it's good. It's really gritty. Like, and the fact they had such a low budget and just had to kind of shoot everything for realsies really adds a element of, yeah, it's pretty intense.
So, out of the two movies that we just saw, which did you prefer?
I think I prefer Nightmare on Elm Street, and I'm glad I watched it. You know, I consider myself something of a film buff and love horror movies and that kind of realm of horror movie especially. And I hadn't seen it in my, I guess, 15 years or so of being a film nerd. So it was good to watch it. The hype was real. Yeah, it was awesome. The practical effects were incredible. There was an element of comedy. I don't know how intentional it was.
That was one of the things I wrote down. I wrote down first death scene, brutal for... Was that considered brutal for the time?
It was pretty full on. You know,
I guess you'd know better than me, having seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so you would know what sort of what they were pumping out 10 years earlier.
Yeah, I guess
because I laughed when I watched it. So I was like, did people think it was funny at the time?
Yeah, I imagine
It's the sort of movies that were just on late at night. Like if you're a kid growing up in the 90s or whatever, were these movies just on at midnight on certain channels and stuff, and kids would just randomly flick over and see, something like these kind of films?
I don't know about that, but it definitely seems like the sort of film that a negligent babysitter or a parent might show to their children.
Okay.
Which reminds me of the first time I saw Halloween, the original Halloween.
Is that Jason?
No, that's Michael Myers.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've seen that.
That's cool.
I'm not super well versed when it comes to classic horror movies.
Yeah, it's I think I only saw it the once, and I mostly remember it because my mum showed me and my elder sister it because she was always talking about how she saw it as a kid and it traumatized her, and I think she wanted to impart that trauma on us.
That's dark.
Yeah, and yeah, I was watching it, and
did it work?
No. I can't remember if it was Halloween. Mum did the same thing with Poltergeist as well. That was another movie she saw as a child that traumatized her. And it was either when we were watching Poltergeist or Halloween, but me and my elder sister kind of almost telepathically communicated a plot wherein my sister went off to the toilet during the film, and then she kind of snuck around the hallway that kind of was behind our living room, and I think she got my attention, and I could see her, and she snuck down and came up behind Mum while she's on the couch and just scared the living shit out of her. It was so good, and yeah, Mum was just trying to scare us, and we got the upper hand there.
How much older is she?
When I say elder sister, I'm the oldest, but she's the oldest of my sisters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Smooth move.
Yeah.
How old was she when she devised this plan and executed it?
Oh, I'm gonna say she would have been about maybe 12 or 13.
Brilliant.
I don't know how again, I think it was some kind of sibling telepathy, looking back on it, I'm like, damn, that was kind of clever of us.
Yeah, I think that's real. Yeah. Not that I've really experienced it much, but I had an interesting conversation with Ty where we sort of touched on that, specifically regarding siblings and stuff like that. In my family growing up, it wasn't so much scaring each other as it was trying to sneak up on the other, and we still do it to this day, especially even with the nieces and nephews. and just trying to get like a clean smack on the forehead. And just to make like a really nice pop. Like you're not trying to hurt him, but you're just trying to go bang, like just bang out of nowhere and just, and get like a really clean, nice sound.
I'm surprised you haven't tried that on me yet.
Nah, because like physically hurting, like, the possibility of physically hurting someone is a different line to cross.
That is true.
Like I wouldn't try and like, there's a chance that I'd hurt you and I would like feel so bad about that.
I'd probably be mad, but then I'd find the humor in it eventually.
I mean, you don't want to give me a license to do that. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, okay. On the record, I'm not giving you a license to smack me in the forehead.
I think that, because I think you just have that with family where like eventually they'll forgive you anyway.
Yeah,
because I think we did it last. I like egged my nephew on to do that. It was either the last time I was with him or the time before, and I egged him to do it because I could see that his mum, my sister-in-law, was just ripe, and he got her, and he smacked her, but he got her way too hard and hit her right in the face, and she was pissed, and I was losing it. I thought it was hilarious, and he didn't think it was funny because he had just smacked his mum in the face, and she had just been smacked in the face, and I'm just like, yeah.
The devil on the shoulder.
Yeah, so sorry about that, Nicole, and yeah, thanks a lot, James. If you ever hear this, you're a good egg, mate.
Yeah, you just gotta work on your swing.
Yes, that's it. Not too hard.
Yeah,
you gotta tap it in.
You want the pop, you don't want the pain.
That's right. You want the pop. So yeah, would you reckon like that would be considered brutal for the time? Back to the brutality versus the hilarity.
Maybe like,
because obviously I'm not watching it with any form of like nostalgia either, so.
I think maybe in terms of sort of the mainstream horror output of that decade, it'd be up there. Like, there's definitely some underground films and stuff, like, and probably foreign films too. Like, I don't know, maybe. I don't know. I got like Henry Portrait of Serial Killer on tape. That's like an 80s horror movie, and that's fucked up. That's like proper like.
Who's in that?
What's his name? Michael Rooker. He's I guess he was in Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, he's in a bunch of other things. But yeah, that's pretty gritty, and that's definitely not like a mainstream horror movie. But yeah, I think with Nightmare on Elm Street, in terms of it being like a mainstream horror, like something that like teenagers and stuff would go and see back in the day. Yeah, pretty gnarly. Like, yeah, the first kill in it was just super bloody. I guess like Johnny Depp's death was also very bloody, but that was just like, a geyser of blood. Whereas, yeah, seeing that chick just get flung around the room and
yeah, that was cool. Hey,
yeah,
the bloody 80s guy getting like knocked off the bed.
Yeah, I'm snoozing here. Hey, keep it down.
Do you know anything about like New Line Cinema?
Nah, not much. I mean,
did they do the first Tarantino movie?
Oh, yeah, fuck knows.
What about Wes Craven in general?
Yeah, I know, like, he's one of the big names in horror, like, of, like, the sort of, I guess, 70s to 80s sort of horror directors, but I've only seen The Hills Have Eyes. He's definitely done other ones.
Have you seen the remake?
No, but you mentioned it the other day, and I kind of do want to watch it.
Loved it.
The mutants in it looked fucked up. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, I'm into this.
Yeah, just genuinely like unsettling when I watched it as like a, like 13 or like 14-year-old, however old I would have been at the time. I would have been about that, and just watching it with my friend at night. The music in it is really like eerie as well. Like there's this pulsating. It's like, like when it's starting to like ratchet up, and you just know something really bad's about to happen. But I won't say too much about it because I'd love to get your thoughts on it at some point. What about all right, slight. Well, no, it's not really a tangent, but because talking about the dreams. Well, like, so one of the things I liked about the Nightmare on Elm Street one is like I just thought the idea of it was really novel and super original. Like the guy like is attacking the people in their dreams. Like that's just there's not really any other movies like that, or if there is, they're kind of like directly taking that idea from that film. So like that itself is super original and makes it like very interesting.
And I guess because it's such a, I guess, wishy-washy concept to begin with, they can kind of play fast and loose with the rules. Like, yeah, I mean, when we were watching it, you had plenty of questions of like, how did this happen? Is this happening? And I was like, yeah, like, I guess it's dream logic.
Yeah.
I guess the ending kind of alluded to it all being a dream, which is a cop-out ending, but I think in this case it was kind of like it's good.
Yeah, I thought it was good too, actually. I liked the ending. It went from like happy to like right back to concerning to like even more concerning. But like teased you for just long enough that like everything was going to be wrapped up in a neat little package. What do you think about like food affecting dreams? You ever had that experience? Because I had a pretty crazy dream last night, and like I definitely ate some food pretty late into the evening. Like I was probably eating food at like 11 o'clock. Like because I had just went for a really long walk with my dogs, and like the stew, we were like slow cooking a stew, and it wasn't really ready. But like I wanted to have some while it was like still fresh. So I ended up like eating some, and had a pretty fucking wild dream. Do you like have any thoughts about that, or any experiences in terms of like food affecting dreams?
I can tell you that if you take B vitamins before you go to sleep or close to when you go to sleep, you will have a very hard time going to sleep, and B vitamins, when you do sleep and dream, they are incredibly vivid, and it's kind of similar to like if you've been over caffeinated and you go to sleep, like you're in a weird like what's the term for it, hypnagogic like state where you're in between dream and awake, and you're not quite sure if you're asleep or awake. So yeah, B vitamins can definitely do that, and there's been a couple occasions where I've gone to bed quite drunk and I've had very vivid dreams. Like vivid and strange and just very... I mean, a lot of dreams are strange, but yeah, memorably strange. But yeah, I hear cheese can do that to you as well. Sugar. What
is it about vitamin B?
I don't know. I guess it's like... I'm no food scientist here. B vitamins have something to do with energy. I'd love to have some facts to pull up about this, but I'm talking out my ass. But I cottoned onto it. It happened 2 nights in a row with me where I decided to take multivitamins before I went to bed. And both those nights I had terrible night's sleep and whack dreams. And I was thinking back the morning after the second night, like, what did I do differently? And I was like, I took vitamins before I went to bed. Looked it up, and yeah, everyone's like, yeah, B vitamins will do strange things to you.
Better to take them in the morning, eh?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you still take vitamins? Like,
yeah, I try to. I have some that I like, if I remember to take them in the morning.
One of the lines I like, a couple of the lines I liked from Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, was "Morality sucks." That's what Johnny Depp said while he was listening to like his friends banging in the next room. And boy, can I relate to that. High five, Johnny Depp. And then after they were finished banging, Jungle Man fixed Jane.
That's right.
Yeah, he did.
I think one of my favorite lines is at the start when Tina's the first chick that dies. I can't remember the name of the main gal.
I don't know either.
But she's talking to her friends about there's two great lines in that scene. She's talking to her friends about the nightmare she had, and fucking Italian greaser boy. It's like, I woke up with a heart on with your name on it. And then her friends like, Tina's talking about it. Tina, the first gal that dies, she's talking about her bad dream. And then the main character's like, maybe there's going to be an earthquake. Weird stuff happens before earthquakes. And I'm like, how did you arrive at that conclusion?
Maybe there's going to be an earthquake. Have you been freebasing?
Fucking McGruff the crime dog over here.
And then that was just kind of funny when the mum said, maybe you don't think murder is serious. Yeah, that gave Bunny a laugh for sure.
Oh, that mum.
Yeah, she was crazy.
I think the mum was the real MVP of that movie.
Oh, negligent as all hell. Classic 80s.
Just a fucking vodka bottle in every cupboard.
Yeah, I want more exposition as to why her and her husband aren't together anymore.
Was it the vodka?
So, yeah, that movie was made on 1.8 million, and it made back 57.1.
And I'm sure if you did the maths for inflation, that's all going to be a crazy amount.
Yeah, there's like all of the movies made money off low budgets. When I was flicking through on Wikipedia, but like there was nothing super crazy. Like I imagine if they remade one now, or not remade one, but like made another one now, it'd make a shit ton of money. Like just on the name value and like the branding of the character alone. So I'm surprised they haven't done that yet.
Yeah, like maybe they just sink a whole heap of money into making it, and maybe just break even on it or something. And the other thing is, if they made it now, it'd probably end up fucking straight to streaming service or...
Yeah.
And I'm sure we've talked about this before, but how does that work? How do they make money? How do they keep pumping all these, subpar movies and TV shows out and turn a profit on it? It boggles the mind.
Yeah, they're paying Adam Sandler $250 million for 4 movies in the next however many years, which is, again, crazy. I guess, I don't know, if it's global, how much are you making off subscriptions per quarter? I don't know. But I do know who John Saxon is now. Her old mate's dad in the first one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my mic's cutting out. I seen him in Beverly Hills Cop 3, which is the best Beverly Hills Cop. And yeah, that's the only thing I think I've ever seen him in. But it was nice to see him in something else because, friendly face.
When I was going through his acting credits on Google, every single movie poster for his films looked like something worth watching.
Oh, really?
It was just either crappy horror movies, 60s westerns, or crime, low budget crime movies. But all the posters look fantastic. I was like, probably going to be a terrible movie, but damn, I'm intrigued by this poster.
This guy is my guy. Yeah, come on, Mike. This guy is my kind of guy. The dead bodies on the news, that was that was cool. Just so random, they're just showing the whole bloody carcass getting wheeled out of the house.
I don't know if you've seen the show. I Think You Should Leave it, a skit show, but there's a skit on it where there's a TV show called Coffin Flops, and the whole the whole premise of the show is it's just footage of people falling out of coffins at funerals.
Whoa.
And that reminded me of it. They're wheeling the gurney along and the arm just flops out of the body bag.
What is this? Is this a real show?
Well,
Or it's a show within a show?
it's a show within a show. Yeah. God, I wish there was a real coffin flops.
That's cool. The body bag hallucinations was a cool part of the movie, like particularly early on.
Yeah. No, that was really cool.
Also a good like album title for Temporary Suicide.
and body bag hallucinations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. Genuinely creepy, I thought. Despite all the 80s goofiness going on around it, like, yeah, and
Yeah, it was.
another testament to the practical effects and makeup in that film. That scene towards the start of the film where I think it is Tina, the first chick who dies. She's like struggling with Freddy, and she like rips his face off.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. That made me go, oh! And also, when it might have been Tina, or it might have been the other chick. Let's just call her Ruth for the fun of it. We'll call her Ruth.
Ruthie.
Yeah, when she like cut his. Oh, no, I think he cut his own shoulder, and all of like the maggots came out.
Yeah.
That was gnarly. But I liked, like, with the film, how, and Bunny mentioned it too, that it got right to the point. Like, there was no slow build-up. It just really got right into, like, what was going on.
Yeah,
and even
literally the first scene, like the opening scene, it was just, yeah, this is the movie.
Yeah. And the fact that they showed the bad guy as well. Like, there was no, like, suspense in terms of, like, who's the bad guy and what's going on.
Yeah. It's not a movie for edges or gooners. It's people who want immediate satisfaction.
Gooners.
Yeah.
Gnarly gooners. That's what you kept saying. You kept saying, oh, this is gnarly. Yeah. Would it be safe to say that this movie pioneered the slasher genre?
Probably not. Like it was... Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big slasher buff, really. I've watched a few, but I know... I think people say Black Christmas was... and I believe John Saxon was in Black Christmas.
Oh, okay.
But I think a lot of people say that's one of the first slasher films. But I think a lot of the...
Have you seen that?
I want to say I have. I also want to say it's one of the movies I watched when I was very stoned and do not remember a whole lot of. Lost to the sands of time. But, yeah, I feel like Nightmare on Elm Street and maybe Friday the 13th are kind of pivotal in a lot of the tropes and cliches that you see in like those kind of horror films.
Is Friday the 13th, Jason?
That's the one with Jason, yeah. Which I haven't seen either. So
Oh, okay, cool. I haven't seen that.
there we go.
So we could go down a is that from the 80s?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Could be an 80s horror movie rabbit hole that we go down, maybe. I liked the hand out of the tub between her legs shot. That was good.
You would.
Yeah. And then I also liked the whole, like, just the fact that it, like, he was dragging her down through the bathtub into this, like, black abyss.
Yeah.
I thought that was really, like, visually looked very, very cool.
And I've definitely had, like, nightmare adjacent dreams where I've been in a underwater in a dark kind of like cave or cavern, and I'm struggling for breath. So I was like, okay, like, you know, it's not just the horribly disfigured guy with like finger knives that's scary. It's, you know, the location as well.
Yeah, and the whole dreamscape element of it. Like,
Yeah.
she's in this, you know, suburban American house just in a bathtub, nice and cozy and warm with good lighting. And then all of a sudden you're getting pulled down into an abyss. And then her mum's like, hundreds of people die every year from falling asleep in the tub.
I just wanted to keep like reiterating that fact, but being like, you know, raising the number of deaths like every time.
1,000 people. 10,000 people die every year.
I really should have looked up the stats on that. It probably is a good chunk of people that die in that incredibly humiliating way.
the millipede out of the mouth scene was a bit gross as well. It was like, ugh.
Yeah, and like all the the rotten entrails as well, and
Yeah.
just a lot of cool, grimy practical effects.
I mean, are practical effects way more expensive to make these days?
I guess so. Because you got to pay for the materials and stuff. Whereas if you're just doing CGI, you just got to pay for the man hours. Well, I'm sorry, people hours. Don't cancel me, please.
I thought all of the running scenes looked really funny and bad. In that movie, I was just like, anytime someone was running, I was like, what the fuck is this? Is silly.
Do
people actually look like that when they run?
The scene where Freddy's arms are all extended and flailing about, and then he starts running and he's just kind of he looks like one of those
That was very weird. They were very overextended.
He looks like one of those used car inflatable people, you know?
The wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man.
Yeah, except he's in your dream and he's running at you.
Those scenes made Steven Seagal look like Usain Bolt. I want one of those big white old style American suburban houses that are just with heaps of rooms.
That's
just so cool.
That is what I was thinking while watching that. Almost every horror film I've seen from the 80s, all the houses are damn, that looks good. Or even Twin Peaks, all the houses in that, it's just yeah.
Classic Americana.
Couldn't get that in Sydney, not for less than $3 million.
This is a complete tangent, but I just wanted to leave it here so that I'd have it somewhere, so that I'd have a way of coming back to it. But steamed hams, but Skinner has schizophrenia.
Yeah. To all our listeners, please go onto YouTube and look that up.
You will not be disappointed.
Jules and I are probably 5 years late to this meme, but yeah, it's making a comeback.
Better late than never.
Yeah.
Yep, we covered the face pull-offs. Smoking in a hospital.
Oh, yeah.
That was good.
Again, the mum's the true MVP.
She is a renegade.
When she's not dismissing her daughter or providing all the exposition for the backstory, she is just smoking a cigarette.
I wrote down bars on the windows, bottle underarm, cigarette in hand, slapping her daughter.
Yeah, she's a beautiful train wreck of a character.
The coffee percolator under the bed.
we all have our vices.
Oh man, that was so good.
Maybe that's what the movie was trying to comment on, the vices of the everyday American.
The mum's got booze hidden in the linen cupboard.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we were,
don't we all?
If we were nicer people, nicer and more well-adjusted, we'd probably find the tragedy in that situation. But I just think it's really funny. Just trying to shoehorn that into a movie where there's a guy in your dreams that can kill you. Oh yeah, and the mum's an alcoholic too.
Yeah, after the first third of the movie, she almost every scene but maybe one, she had a bottle of alcohol with her.
the scene just before she slaps. No, it wasn't that scene. But
one where her daughter smashes the bottle. She's mid conversation with her daughter and grabs the bottle to take a drink.
Yeah, at the start of the movie, I think just after Tina got killed, her daughter comes down to the kitchen, and I was like, is her mum pouring herself a mug of vodka in the morning? And I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's something traumatic's happened. But then I was like, oh, okay, no, that's her thing. She has an addiction, and she stashes vodka in funny places.
Oh man, the addiction's not funny, but when it's put on film, it can be. And it can be very funny.
Maybe if you were to make a film about... it's been done plenty of times where a character's addicted to something, but when you're just shoehorning it into a horror movie about a guy who can kill you in your fucking dreams, I don't think you can do it tactfully. you gotta spend all your resources like killing people and making it look good. You can't you can't really do family drama on the side unless you're like Ari Aster.
Hey, Wes, what's my motivation? You're drunk. I know, but what's my motivation? When the unplugged phone's ringing, and then she picks it up and it licks her. Oh, that was crazy.
And yeah, that was an interesting scene because that I feel like that's probably one of the times in that film where you're not really sure if they're awake or asleep. But
Until the phone starts ringing.
no, because like,
Because she'd already ripped it out from the wall.
yeah, but she's awake, and her dipshit Johnny Depp boyfriend's asleep. But then I guess with the ending, it'll make sense.
Does it?
Yeah, because if it was a dream the whole time, she thought she was awake then, but it was all a dream. So,
Oh.
but at the time
okay.
watching it, I was like, oh, this doesn't. This
Oh, you reckon
doesn't
she
make
was
sense.
asleep that whole time?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I wonder like how many movies they'd have fire suits in before that. Like when he's like running around on fire, I was like, "Ooh, man, is that of this time? Is that like a modern? At the time, was that super modern tech for films?
That was the most unintentionally hilarious part of the film for me.
Was it
The
footprints?
the flaming footprints.
The flaming footprints.
That tickled me so much, and I don't know why. Like it's like some like Looney Tunes bullshit. Like
They went right down. Like he would have had to walk straight past them.
oh
And then what the hell was with the M part with her mum on the bed?
oh yeah.
What was with all of that? And they just disappear into the bed. And the dad's just like, right, I'll leave you to it. I'll let you process this. I'll be downstairs.
And the face he's pulling, it's like, I don't know. I would say
Who,
it's
Freddie or the dad?
the dad, John Saxon. The face he's pulling through all that and afterwards, it's like, I would describe it as someone who's just like walked into a room and saw two dogs humping each other. It's a mixture of disgust and disbelief, and not like someone who's just like seen their ex-wife get pulled into another dimension by a flaming serial killer.
Oh my goodness. Now I'm just imagining someone walking into a room with two dogs humping and they're just disgusted and in disbelief. Like, how could you
Yeah.
They are dogs, bro. Like,
His expression was lacking the horror I think that scene kind of needed. It was just like, ugh.
okay, well that
Ooh, brother. Ooh.
maybe that's brother, no brother, ooh brother. All right, well that draws me to the question: how would you describe the acting in this movie?
I thought the acting was pretty good.
At first, I thought it was shit, but then I sort of like just got into the groove of the movie.
Yeah, look, it's not like, it's not Shakespearean levels. And as that film told us, Shakespeare will put you to sleep and then you will get attacked in your classroom.
Very true.
Yeah, I know. Just like everyone hit all the marks. Again, shout out to the mother. Fantastic stuff. Yeah, I like. It's like an 80s horror movie, like there's a degree of like amateurism to the acting, but there's also like the horror and fear on their faces is very real. The dialogue is kind of strange at times, and some of the situations that don't involve being pulled into a horrible dream world by a serial killer are just kind of like, yeah, just odd. The pacing is a bit odd, but that's kind of what you want out of a movie like that. You want some big.
They're just like transitional scenes until you get back into the psycho.
Yeah. But I don't know. I thought in terms of like the actors conveying the fear and the horror of that situation. And I guess when you think about it, it is pretty fucked up, man. Yeah, I don't know.
Having not seen it before, obviously, like it got me at the end when like her and her mum like went out the front door and everything was all nice and like they're like and I was like like I took that like breath with the characters as well. And then I'm like, and then I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if everyone else survived. And then you see them in the car and they did. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay. And they all jump in. Then all of a sudden you see the roof like closing over and it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I guess I had the same sort of reaction, like the brief moment of respite. But the fog, like when they step out of the house and it's like super foggy, I was like, okay, something's not right here. And
I thought for a sec that the mum was going to turn into Freddy, like her face was going to come off or something. And it was actually him, but
yeah,
what happened was definitely even better. just this just model getting sucked through this tiny hole in the door. It just looks so funny. Oh, God, it looks so funny. All right, Brayson Bagnalson, what would you give it out of 10?
I'd say it's a solid like 8 out of 10.
8.
I reckon.
Okay.
Yeah. Crazy it's taken me this long to watch it. Glad I did. I'm sure plenty of other people are like, oh yeah, no shit. that horror movie everyone always talks about in high regard is actually kind of good. But it is.
Would you consider it B grade? Or do you think that like B grade falls into a different class based upon, I don't know.
I think it's definitely not B grade. It's not a B like horror film. Yeah, I think it was a very competent and
because I think you probably get B grade movies in every genre.
Yeah,
so it's not like a genre specific or anything like that. And I guess it's not budget specific. Maybe budget plays a role, but it doesn't necessarily have to. What makes a B grade movie a B grade movie?
It's one of those things where when you see it, you know it.
It's like umami.
It's like it's like the stinky, shitty version of umami, but you like it anyway.
All right, and so the next movie that we watched was The Lost Boys, Joel Schumacher. Now, I feel like I've had a question answered today because the cover of this movie, like the videotape cover, is like one of those iconic movie covers that I've seen probably like 10,000 times in my life, but never really known what's on the other side of it. And have always, until today, been under the impression that Johnny Depp was in that movie. And I thought the main character with the glasses and the black hair in the picture was Johnny Depp, because it looks so much like Johnny Depp. But today, my bubble was burst, and I learnt that it was actually Sandra Bullock's co-star in Speed.
Yeah.
The bargain basement Johnny Depp.
They couldn't get Johnny Depp because he got sucked into a bed and turned into a geyser of blood in the previous film.
And the geysers of blood was actually one of the few things that these two movies had in common.
Yes.
I didn't see that coming, actually.
Yeah, well, there was something else, right? It'll come to me. I feel like there was one other similarity.
All of actually the elements, the end of the film when everything went crazy, like Lost Boys had more of like a build up to that stuff.
Yeah.
And I kind of didn't really see it coming in terms of like, I don't know, all of the practical effects and how like 80s and how 80s horror it would get like towards the end. Like it's not as jarring as that Tarantino George Clooney one with all the vampires.
Oh, Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah. It's not as like jarring as that.
Oh, you know what? I'm pretty sure George Saxon?
Yeah. John
Saxon. I'm pretty sure he's in Dusk Till Dawn as well.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he a cop in that as well?
Oh, I don't know. He's got that face though. He's the face of a cop.
Keith Sutherland was rocking an amazing mullet.
Yeah, he looked good. He's a bad boy.
Falling Down, Phone Booth, 8mm, and the number 23.
And Batman and Robin.
Were those Batman and Robin ones after what's his name did it? Guy that loves Johnny Depp and puts him in all his movies. Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, yes, I believe so. I think George Clooney is in one or both of them.
They're the George Clooney ones.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Where there's nipples on the bat suit.
Oh, so what? Like in the 90s, it was Val Kilmer did Batman, and George Clooney did Batman, and Keaton did Batman.
Yeah.
Wow. Gee, how many Batman movies did they release in the 90s?
I don't know. And then I guess it goes to show you that not that much has changed. They'll reboot and recycle anything.
Who was first?
Oh, I think it was Keaton.
Oh, okay.
I want to say it was Keaton.
Now, I think we can both agree that the best part about The Lost Boys was Tim Capello, not buffless. He definitely wasn't buffless. He was buff,
He had a
shirtless,
He had a surplus of buffs.
yeah, buff, shirtless saxophone man wearing chains around neck and wrists. That's what I wrote.
And prior to watching that film, just about the only thing I knew about the film was that it featured the saxophone guy.
How did that become the only fact that you knew?
I don't know. I guess it got memed to death.
Did it?
Yeah, or I've just seen clips of it, I guess. But I think the best thing about that is he's like basically playing himself too. Like by the sounds of it, he was known for thrusting on stage and being all oiled up. That
guy needs definitely his own TV show. I'm going to go out of my way to watch some live performances of his because that little, advertisement at the start of that movie, that reeled me in hook, line, and sinker. And, Alex Winter was in it.
Yes.
From Bill and Ted.
And Freaked, as I was mentioning.
Which I've never seen.
It is, one of the movies lost to time, but I watched it a couple of years ago with my mate Matt, and just full of stupid visual gags. My favorite one is there are these two giant eyeballs on legs.
Ooh.
And they've got dreadlocks.
Whoa.
And they are they're Rastafaris.
Oh. No.
It's brilliant stuff.
Jeez.
And Keanu Reeves is in Freaked as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, uncredited. But I think he was good friends with Alex Winter, so he was in it. And a fairly major part too, but just totally uncredited. Probably saved his career.
The fact that he was uncredited.
Yeah.
Corey Feldman in the bandana.
Yeah, doing the tough macho voice the whole film.
Yeah, I couldn't take anything that he was doing seriously, hey. But I also kind of liked it. It gave the movie a certain sort of charm.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Him, the Frog Brothers. I just liked that they were called the Frog Brothers. A very disarming name to a bunch of wannabe vampire hunters. I
noticed a bit of Barnsey in the soundtrack. That was unexpected for an American movie.
Yeah, In Excess. That cover of People Are Strange.
Yeah.
That is by Echo and the Bunnymen.
Oh, I knew it was, but I think it was the original at the end.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, but...
And speaking of the music, where that vampire gets, stabbed and goes back into the stereo and his head explodes.
I think, controversial opinion here, but I think for a movie to be considered good, to be considered a masterpiece, there should be at least one exploding head. That is it. That's all I want.
You're a simple man.
I did. I think when we watched what was that movie? The Sean Connery one. Outland?
Yes. I was going to say Godland, but I knew it wasn't that.
I think that maybe awakened something dormant in me. Seeing that many exploding heads in one film, I was like, damn.
Give me more heads. Well, you were saying that between that and the Geysers of Blood, you did say that, like, I understand why they built the Colosseum.
Yeah.
It was for people like you,
Yeah.
the simple man, the everyday man.
The simple man braying for blood.
After just wants to come home after a hard day's work and watch some people get mutilated
Yeah.
in the most gruesome possible way.
Is that so wrong, Jules? Is that so wrong?
I don't believe so.
Yeah.
I don't believe it's wrong at all. Motorcycle gang eating maggots. That was yep.
Yeah, that was I was glad I got to see, like I mentioned What We Do in the Shadows when we were watching that. There is a scene in the film that pays direct homage to that scene.
What movie was this?
What We Do in the Shadows.
No, I haven't seen that.
It's very funny. It's like a Kiwi mockumentary.
Oh,
about
really?
Vampires, and very silly, but very enjoyable.
Is there lots of like Kiwi accents in it?
Yeah.
That does sound good.
Yeah, you should watch it. And then they made it into a TV show.
My girlfriend
as
will
well.
probably like that because she's got a bit Kiwi in it. What we do in the shadows. Wonder if it's easy to find.
Yeah, I definitely, last time I watched it was on a streaming service, but fuck knows which one.
The hanging train scene was kind of intense.
Yeah. It made me think about how much I enjoy walking under, like through an underpass when a train goes overhead. And I'm like, damn, imagine like actually hanging on for dear life while that was happening.
And I just want to take, I just want to take the time to point out how the videotape that we were watching during the 80s sex scene kind of got a bit, there were some lines going through the tape, right? Like it was very clear. I don't know what you do in your spare time, but that scene had been rewound more than a couple of times.
Look here, buddy.
That much I'm sure of. It was the only time in the whole movie when we had these VHS lines just kind of going through the tape, a bit of distortion.
If you're implying that that was me, I can assure you I have much saucier things to work with.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. But someone at some point rewound that videotape at that scene, and they did it more than once.
And it's like, I don't know, maybe my theory was that they were trying to see some titty. Maybe even a bit of side boob. But it was a pretty mild sex scene. It did touch all the cornerstones of a good 80s sex scene. It had the music. It had the lighting.
It had the transition into a cloud montage.
Yeah, it was, 80s sex scene 101 right there.
They should have played People Are Strange at like half speed. That would have made it really good. The scene where they burst into the church during the baptism, like mid-baby baptism, and they're just stocking up on holy water.
Yeah, and the frog brother that isn't Corey Feldman just gives the right on fist to the priest.
Yeah, the Geysers of Blood. That was. Did you remember what the other thing they had in common was? That's what I wrote down. Geysers of Blood.
No, not yet. I feel like it was something very specific. The maggots.
Oh, it was the maggots. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Geysers of Blood and maggots. That's all we need in the 80s. But people like just really scared. It's probably just an easy way to do something super gross in a film. Cheap. I can't imagine it's very expensive to go get a bunch of maggots.
No. And I have had numerous experiences with hundreds of maggots, and it is gross. And
Numerous?
two.
Okay.
More than one experience.
Yeah, please do tell.
Well, one of them was just kind of boring. It was just like I let my own bin get festy, and yeah, that was gross. But the main time was when I was back up in Brisbane working as a butcher's assistant.
Oh.
And the butchers had left a blood and bone bin out in the sun, the hot Queensland sun.
Yep.
And it was empty, mostly empty. I think there was a couple of chunks of flesh and bone in there or whatever. But But yeah, it'd been out there for a while, and they wheeled it in. And like my main job was to clean the room down at the end of the day, which is gross enough already, but you know, used to it. But they were like, "Hey, Braydos, like, can you clean this bin out?"
Using you by your nickname, trying to sweeten you up a little bit.
Yeah.
Hang time. Do you mind cleaning this out?
Please scratch that name from the record. It's a private dance.
I'll put a beep noise in it so no one knows what we said. Beep, hey, boop.
But yeah, knowing those guys who are fucking horrible human beings, just very funny horrible human beings, they definitely knew what they were setting me up to do. So I cleaned the room, got it to a point where I was like, okay, I'll tackle the bin. Opened up the lid of the bin and almost threw up from the smell. And it was so bad to the point where I had to get a cloth and spray it with some kind of multi-purpose cleaner or degreaser and like wrap it around my face just to like mask the smell. And I kind of just turned my head away from the bin and sprayed it with my little like degreaser hose. I was like, I'm going to keep doing everything else that needs to be done. I'm going to come back to this bin. And when I did come back to the bin, I was like, all right, I'll tip it out and hose it down. And this is still in the, the butcher room, right? There's a drain on the floor. It's all kind of, everything drains.
Sounds like it's probably very similar to a morgue.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you kind of do the same shit. But yeah.
Just when you eat and when you don't.
Yeah. Well,
ideally.
Yeah. It's an interesting thought. Anyway, I tipped the bin out. I tipped it over and flooded the floor with maggots, like hundreds, possibly thousands of maggots. And I was just like, God damn. Like, I thought the smell was bad enough, and now there are like thousands of these horrible little fuckers on the floor, and I have to deal with
thousands.
Hard to say. It was a lot.
Tons, the most you've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't think most people see that many maggots. They might see one or two, but this was a harrowing experience.
Did they fit down the drain?
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing though. I'm trying to remember now so the drain had a little steel catchment. So there was like the drain covering and then like a little like steel cup, kind of like a pool filter or like what you have in your sink to catch all the schmutz so it doesn't go down the sink. So I don't know if I took that out and just hosed the maggots down the drain or if I just hosed them into the steel catchment. Maybe I've repressed that memory.
How long did you do that for as a job?
Maybe 1.5, 2 years.
Man. Was it hot in there? Or
No.
air conditioned?
It was refrigerated, so it was it's real nice.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it'd have to be, of course. What am I
Just
thinking?
smell horrible at the end of your shift.
I wonder at what point does like flesh become meat?
I guess as soon as you look at it and you go, I could season that.
As soon as it becomes edible.
Yeah.
I could season that. I could leave that in some bloody, for a bit.
Get a bit of dry age going on it.
That's it. Hey, did you ever see Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
No, I haven't. But I feel like maybe that and Nightmare on Elm Street have something in common, wherein The Simpsons has spoofed it so much that I feel like...
Yeah, that was my only reference point to Nightmare on Elm Street was that Simpsons episode.
And yeah, like somewhat accurate.
Very great. Yeah, they did a very good job. So I thought with the Lost Boys, I was honestly, I was beginning to feel like the movie was starting to get really sucky until the end when all of the death scenes started. And then when all that started, I was like, oh yeah, cool. This was worth the wait. This was worth the journey to get to here.
Yeah, it was very much like kind of a tacky 80s film, and I sort of expected it to be like that. In fact, I feel like I tried watching it many a moon ago and didn't finish it because I was like, no, I want to watch like a honest to God horror movie, not this like tacky 80s bullshit. Yeah, I don't know. It was like there were parts in it that were kind of kept me invested. I think there are enough like silly little jokes. Like I kind of called the scene where the kid wakes up, Corey Haim's character wakes up, and he's got the like taxidermy owl staring at him.
Yeah.
He's like, Grandpa's got to stop doing this. And I was like, oh, he's going to like open his cupboard up and it's going to be full of like taxidermy animals. And it was. I was like, that's good. Reminded me of that that scene in The Simpsons where it's like the first season where they go to Mr. Burns' party and everyone brings him the Jello and he's just like put it with the other ones and Smithers opens up the cupboard and it's just full of Jello.
Oh, I don't know if I remember that. I can't picture that scene.
It's one of my favorite gags. It's just so like.
Why is everyone bringing him Jello?
Because someone starts a rumor that he likes Jello. Like everyone's like, "What do we like?"
This is in season 1.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's the family therapy episode, the one where they shock each other.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. During the credits, we come to learn that there were 5 surf Nazis
Yes,
in the movie. I had no idea. I didn't remember seeing any surf Nazis.
there was a distinct lack of sig hailing and
Swastikas.
dropping into mad barrels or whatever surfers do. Someone with like longer blonder hair can correct me on the terminology there.
I loved the last line in the film from the granddad too.
Yeah.
The only thing I've always hated about Santa Clara is the bloody zombies, like or whatever he said to that effect.
The vampires. They were vampires.
Oh yeah, vampires. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of a dick move. Like he's like, oh yeah, my daughter's just divorced her husband. I'm gonna tell her to move in with me and into the murder capital of the world apparently. And just this whole time he knows what's going on, but he's not like, oh hey kid, be careful of vampires. He's just, busy getting stoned and stuffing dead animals.
Yeah, and drinking root beer and eating extra-sized ice cream Oreos. What a gangster.
Yeah.
He's living the life.
Honestly, I envy his life. He had a sick
He
house.
was like the mother from Nightmare on Elm Street. Like
Yeah.
just 2 parallel characters. So that movie was 8.5 mil and it made back 32.2.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, like for a movie that's like 3 years apart, it didn't seem like 4 times the amount of money went into it. Maybe Tim Capella's budget was, a few mil all by itself.
Yeah. Like, I guess there are a few big sort of set pieces, like the ending, I guess, when all the blood's like pouring out of the sink and
Yeah, that was cool. Garlic does nothing. Holy water. What would you give that one out of 10, Brayson Bagnalson?
I'd probably give that one like a 7 out of 10.
Okay. Yep.
Or a 3 out of 5. Like, yeah, it was enjoyable. Like, I don't often go out of my way to watch like films like that. I'm usually looking for something a bit more obscure or like, I guess, for lack of a better word, edgy. So it's good to sometimes just kick back and watch a classic and have a bit of fun.
Yeah, as I said before, it's nice to know what's on the other side of that movie poster. That's for sure. Very iconic image. I've got some other questions here that I'm going to throw at you. I think the best one to start with, which is an interesting one I thought, is what's the difference between film and cinema and movies? It was originally just film and cinema, but then I thought I'd add in movies as well.
I think it depends on how pretentious you are.
Yeah?
I don't know. I think like
which means like nothing.
yeah, kind of. I think it's all like semantics, really. But it would feel strange to me calling like a 60s art house classic, black and white classic by some fucking well-renowned French director. To me, I'd automatically call that a film rather than a movie. I feel like I always reserve movie for like, oh, hey, have you seen that?
Trash.
Yeah, no, or trash or just like... But I guess it's personal preference. I think it's just semantics. It's all the same thing, really.
And well, like just levels of like highbrow.
I guess so. I guess like subconsciously, that's what I see it as. But also, I'm aware that there isn't really much difference. It's it's all just moving pictures in it.
Okay. Hey, were you ever into Pokemon?
No. I actually I had a few of the TV episodes on VHS.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I never really got into the games. Just not my kind of style of gameplay.
Or the cards or anything like that.
Oh no, I had the cards as well. I never like played it. I just collected it. And I had like a folder full of them.
Oh, cool.
Don't know if it still exists. It'd be cool if it does, but
Oh, in some circles it definitely does.
Oh no, I mean like if my actual collection still exists.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm well aware of how lucrative Pokemon cards can be. So it's crazy.
Yeah, tons are getting stolen down in Melbourne.
Oh really?
A few months ago, I remember seeing a news article about it.
Damn.
Organised gangs. Cigarettes and Pokemon cards. Yeah, because I finally, for the first time ever, unexpectedly, I went into an Asian grocer's yesterday at Burwood, and I was in there looking for some chai tea, and on the way out, I found a life-size Pokeball.
Oh, true.
Yeah, and it had like a Pokemon in it as well. But it was like exactly life-size and just looked like it was like the actual real thing, and I picked it up and held it, and I couldn't believe I was like holding it in my hands. I was like, wow. I have to get one of these. Like, this is the day I finally get a life-size Pokeball.
Burwood is where magic happens.
It really is.
I reckon Burwood is probably one of the best, if not the best, suburbs in Sydney.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's the food, I guess the kind of nightlife that exists out there, despite it not being immediately in the the CBD area. It's not. It's trendy, but it's like Instagram trendy. It's not just full of like inner westies, and I'm kind of over that. So it's good to be able to go somewhere and have a night out that isn't the city or the inner west, and also eat some delicious spicy food and drink relatively cheap beers
And have some crazy nightmares.
Yeah.
Or at least dreams. Yeah, because I was and there were inside this Pokeball, there was the chance of like 12 different Pokemon. I remember when I bought it, I was just kind of saying to myself, I was like, man, I hope that I get a Jigglypuff. Because I wanted the Jigglypuff because Jigglypuff likes to sing, and I like anything that reminds me that I need to sing more. Because, I feel like you can't sing and be in a bad mood. Like really, you can't really be singing and in a bad mood. And when I ended up opening the Pokeball when I got home, there was a Jigglypuff in there.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, and by that time, I had forgotten that I made that wish. Because I made it when I was looking at all the Pokemon in the store. And then I bought the Pokeball, chucked it in my bag, and then went home. And then like an hour later, I was opening it, and boom.
Is Jigglypuff the one that can put you to sleep?
Yeah,
by
put you
singing?
to sleep by singing.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. I was pretty happy about it. Like video games in general, like growing up, like I don't know, how old are you?
I am 30.
Yeah, cool. So you're like what console did you have growing up?
Nintendo 64.
You were a 64 kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, sick. So what games did you play growing up? Because I never had the Nintendo. I find that I feel like people that grew up with Nintendo, well, they had a very different childhood. as opposed to like I grew up with the Sony PlayStation, and then
yeah,
obviously the PlayStation 2 was just the most amazing invention of all time. But yeah,
Yeah, pacemakers be damned.
oh man, just even just the loading screens bring back super nostalgia.
They definitely had the best like loading screen, like the sound, and I had a PS1 as well at my dad's place, but yeah, the 64 was like my main console. Played a lot of Mario 64, Donkey Kong 64, Ocarina of Time, Zelda, and Star Wars Racer, the pod racing game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Which I revisited recently, and I totally forgot about the winning screen in that. When you win a race, you get Watto humming the Cantina theme,
oh cool.
et cetera, et cetera. It's yeah, an earworm. Yeah, those are the days. I remember being terrified playing Ocarina of Time. Some pretty scary things in it
Really?
as a child. Yeah, it's like those like older games. I think like there's a lot of like probably like video essays on it on YouTube, but about like I guess like liminal spaces and how like the low resolution and kind of desolation of some of the maps in these games and how unpopulated and sparse they feel adds this kind of degree of horror, unintentional. But yeah, there was some like scary parts in the Zelda game too.
Wow.
Zombies and shit, you know.
Liminal spaces.
Yeah, it's like
Like I have no reference point for Zelda at all.
yeah, I don't know where to begin, but yeah, you know, fantasy, just yeah.
I hear that it's probably got a pretty killer soundtrack.
Oh yeah, and yeah, busting out tunes on your little ocarina too in the game, and you know, like changing the weather with it, or even just freestyling it. Just you had like the I think it was called the C buttons on the 64 controller, but you know, it's like essentially like the D-pad on any other controller, and each one of those buttons corresponded to a note on the ocarina, so you could just sit there and just try and like freestyle your own song like in game.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty fun.
So that was the 64 game.
Yeah.
Did it first come out on 64?
Yeah, well, it was
Like the original Zelda?
the original would have been like a NES, like the first Nintendo console.
Yeah,
Probably.
okay.
Or SNES. I don't know. I'm not a huge like Nintendo nerd. Just yeah, peripherally.
What about like did you get the PS2 when it came out?
No. I got one like way after the fact. I think my family wanted to play that like Buzz music quiz game.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, and it's got what's his name? That Australian actor who's like the host.
Rove?
No, Jason Donovan, the guy who was in Neighbours.
Oh, I can't.
Scott and Charlene.
Jason Donovan.
Yeah, from like the 80s.
I can't picture what he looks like in my head.
He's kind of just like a blonde himbo kind of character. But yeah, never really like grew up with a PS2. Definitely got my grubby little hands on a copy of Resident Evil 4 when we got the PS2 though, and we didn't have a memory card, so I'd be like playing it and I'd just like leave the PlayStation on so I didn't lose my progress, and just pray that someone didn't come along and turn it off.
Yeah. One of the best and / worst memories I have from like growing up playing video games was like playing Pokemon. I used to play on the Game Boy Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, and I never wanted to evolve my starter Pokemon past its like its second level evolution. So like my team was like significantly underpowered, and I could never get past the last gym, even though it was a water gym, because I never wanted to evolve my grass type starter to the last level, because he had this sick looking mohawk because he was a lizard. It's called a Grovyle. And yeah, so I must have battled this gym like 100 times. And I finally beat it one time. and then the battery went dead before I could save it. And I don't know that I ever completed the game. I don't think I ever went back to it after that. Like I was just gutted.
Yeah, no, I probably would have thrown it at the wall.
It's really funny, like when you play different video games. Like if you can't get past a level, like there was a level in the Grand Theft Auto games on like the PSP and stuff like that, where some of them were really hard. I remember one when I was in the bow of a ship, and there was just all these henchmen, and you're having to kill them all. It must have been Liberty City Stories or something. And again, like I must have tried 100 times, could never do it. Didn't play it for months because I couldn't get past this level. Went back to try it months later. First time, nailed it.
Yeah, it's weird like that. And playing the type of video games I do, like the Dark Souls games, I'm just so used to doing the same thing over and over again and dying horribly and just giving it like 10 goes in a row and being like, yep, fuck this. I'm gonna cook dinner now.
And then what, you go back after dinner?
Yeah.
Is there something comforting in the repetitiveness of it?
Yeah, kinda. I think it's not so much the repetition. I just really enjoy the gameplay and the world, and
Do you like how hard it is?
I do. Yeah. I'm a glutton for punishment.
Because I think I was like asking you earlier, that one that you're playing now is like open world, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like open world the same way that Elder Scrolls is, in the sense that it's just this ginormous map and you can just go in any direction.
Yeah, pretty much. There's a couple of like soft locks for areas. Like you got to like get certain items to progress to new areas, but yeah, more or less it's like big open world.
Do you have a first memory of wrestling?
Yes. We had some relatives who lived I can't remember the suburb. Up in Queensland somewhere. We had some relatives, and I think we went there for Christmas or post-Christmas. And these relatives had a Nintendo 64. And they were playing one of the I guess it would have been WWF back then. Yeah, that was the first time I ever encountered wrestling in this video game.
Cool.
Yeah, I remember first time I ever heard, like, The Rock's catchphrase, you smell the Rock's cooking. I was like, yeah, this guy's kind of cool.
Yeah.
He's got attitude.
Yeah,
like,
sick.
and then, never really engaged with it until one of my friends much later up in Brisbane kind of got me into it and was just kind of selling me on the drama and the spectacle of it all. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. I get it now. Like,
Yeah.
It's stupid, but like,
It can be. It can be the most stupidest thing in the whole world.
but there's a lot of like love and time and dedication put into it, which I appreciate.
Mm.
And it's just kind of sick seeing someone get fucking walloped. That video you sent me of the guy.
What was with the thumbnail? Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about the one recently.
Oh, no.
The one I sent that had this thumbnail of this guy doing a selfie in the mirror. Then you click on the video and he's like jumping off a ladder.
Yes, yeah.
Is that one you were talking about?
I think so. Wait, is it the one where he like lands on the door and?
Because the guy, that was messed up. Hey, what about the one where that guy elbow drops and just lands on the concrete? Fuck.
Wrestling.
Oh, cool. All right, thanks for sharing that. I know you like it a little bit, and it's just interesting to see like what your first memory of it was, and it's interesting that I guess a lot of people do get into it through the video games. Like video games, like a gateway into like the actual product.
I shit you not. Actually, I came so close to buying one of the games yesterday. It was like on special at Big W.
Oh wow.
But the only reason I would want to buy it is so I can make a horribly disfigured character and make them wrestle.
Yeah, sick. Yeah, that would be fun. And what else have I got on here?
And also, quick sidebar: I have a new favorite wrestler now, Viscera.
Hey! Shout out to Viscera.
I like the cut of his jib.
Yeah. Well, you haven't even seen the part of his jib where he turns into like a sex-addicted monster. and he just like wants to hump everyone, and he comes out with these giant pajamas on. This guy's like 500 pounds. They're just massive, massive pajamas.
He and I sound very alike, Jules.
Yeah, yeah. You're a splitting image of each other, that's for sure. Do you remember the best burger you've ever had?
Damn, really touching on all bases of life and existence here.
I know, I was just brainstorming questions, or I was just letting the questions come to me while I was on the bus. I was like, I better have some in my back pocket.
I don't know if it was like necessarily the best burger I've ever had, but I remember it all these years later. But we used to go camping, like me and my family, we used to go camping on Kagari up in Queensland. And we'd camp on the beach on like the east coast, the beachy side, and we usually go for like a week or a week and a half sort of stint. And we'd be shitting in the sand dunes, no showers or anything, like proper camping.
Yeah, you didn't even need to go camping to do that.
I'm shitting right now. But yeah, we usually make a day trip to this resort that was on the west coast of the island, because they had a restaurant there and showers you could use. So we'd go there, we get some food and have a shower. God, it was good. But yeah, we always used to get the burger they served there, and it was like, what did we used to call it? I can't remember, but it was the sort of burger where it was like big, like thick, juicy patty, like the really kind of aerated, like not like a smash burger or something like the burgers that are popular. This was like a big, like juicy fucker. And yeah, we always
Like viscera.
yeah. Shout out to my man Viscera. But yeah, that's a burger that's pun somewhat intended, seared into my memory.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that.
Well, you're not going to tell me about yours?
Oh, I don't know if I've got a favourite burger.
That's a fucking cop-out answer.
Wow, that was brutal.
I had to think of that one, man. I had to travel into the recesses of my brain and.
Yeah, I just can't think of like one specific one where I like just went, oh my goodness, and just slapped my belly, you know, like. Oh man, there's like a butcher that also makes burgers up the road from my place in Roselle called Eat at Rob's. So shout out to them. They make a really nice burger. Probably is more of like a smash burger, but it is just like the burger, cheese, pickles, special sauce, and lettuce. So that's a pretty good one. But I don't know if I could call it the best burger I've ever eaten.
Oh, actually, you probably like even get them via Uber Eats. They're expensive though, but they do deals. I think it's in Five Dock or maybe Drummoyne.
Okay, that's not far.
I can't remember the name of the place, so we're off to a good start here. But it's like a American Texan style barbecue joint.
Yum.
And they do these burgers right. They're huge. They're like...
I tell you what, Big Daddy Burger, just their normal plain cheeseburgers are fucking fantastic.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah, these burgers, man, like the patties have this like smoked flavor to them. The serving's absolutely huge. You get like onion rings and stuff on it.
Love onion rings.
Yeah, it's real good. And it's like proper American style, so it's like very heavily salted. Like it's good stuff.
I recently was watching Sunny, and he. Come on, baby. I recently was watching our friend Sunny from Best Ever Food Review Show, and he was talking about how Gordon Ramsay did a poll on some sort of website, and it came back that Moroccan cuisine is the bestest, tastiest cuisine in the world.
Moroccan.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that? I can't say I've ever really eaten much Moroccan food.
No, I feel like I've probably had like a Master Foods pre-made like sachet meal years and years ago that was meant to be Moroccan style, but yeah, I kind of know the vibe, but yeah, I've never actually researched the recipe and made it myself, or been to Morocco. Seems like a cool place though.
All right. This one's almost like a 2 to 3 parter. 1, why do you hate sports so much?
Oh, I don't.
Especially as someone who enjoys beer and belligerence. And then there's another part, but we'll leave it with that. I wrote that one at the bus stop. I was like, beer and belligerence.
No, I don't hate sport. I just not interested in it. And
Yeah, why not?
I don't know. Like, never found it interesting. Like, I'd rather watch a movie or play a video game than. Yeah.
You ever been to a game live?
Yeah. I've been to 2004 World Cup. I saw New Zealand versus Tonga, I think.
Soccer or rugby?
Rugby union.
Yeah.
And then I went to a 2020 match as well. I did enjoy the rugby union match. I was like, I was cheering on New Zealand, and New Zealand was like absolutely walloping Tonga. So
Yeah, they would.
Then I started cheering for Tonga. I'm like, come on, guys, pull it together. But yeah, generally, like, I don't know, I can kind of get into sport when I'm with a group, and it's kind of like an energy vampire situation. I'm like feeding off the enjoyment. But
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But I'd usually rather watch anything else.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't entertain me or intrigue me at all. And more often than not, the athletes are terrible human beings. So,
Wow, that's a gross generalization.
yeah, it is. But they're gross people, Jules.
Also, Jack Cambling said he'd be keen to go to like a local wrestling show at some point.
Yeah,
So
true.
might be able to get a posse together.
Yeah. Or we should just start our own wrestling league.
Well, if we do, I want to be a manager. I just want to be like a mouthpiece. That'd be sick. I don't want to do a lot of the wrestling, but I do want to say a lot of nasty, nasty stuff and then get my comeuppance.
It's kind of like what you normally do, but
Yeah, it's kind of like what I do at work.
without the comeuppance.
Yeah. That's it. Oh, man. When I scared you the other day. Oh, man. You jumped so high. Oh, that was so funny.
I'm a little disappointed in myself, but I don't know. At least I have the comedic stylings to back it up.
You ever seen that video of Tom Cruise when he's like laughing uncontrollably when he's like telling that story about how they turned that guy's oxygen off in the plane?
No, that sounds kind of scary, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Just conceptually, Tom Cruise scares me a little bit.
I'll have to show that to you. Did you know that like he was the inspiration for the American Psycho character?
Yeah, you're telling me that.
Did I tell you that one? Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny. Christian Bale was watching that and was like, now I know what I'm doing for this film. Did you want to just briefly mention the story about how you chickened out getting a photo with big head Peter Garrett?
Yeah, I God damn it. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Jake mentioned that Peter Garrett was in the store and rushed to go see him, and I was like, spying him through the doorway from the back of the warehouse, and he certainly looked like a tall, bald fella, and got confirmation from one of my colleagues who was serving him, and it wasn't 100%, but I was like, okay, it's probably Peter Garrett. But yeah, I was slacking myself off, and I'm like, it's kind of cringy, going up to someone and asking for a photo, even if they know they're famous and they have a fan base. But my other coworker got into my ear and said, hey man, imagine if you go up and ask for a photo and he says no, And now every time you like listen to Midnight Oil, which is like relatively frequently, I enjoy them.
I certainly was probably at the time this happened. We were rinsing them for a long time.
Yeah, and I've got like 3 or 4 of their records too. Like, I listen to them from time to time. I quite enjoy them. But yeah, I was just like, he was like, yeah, what happens if you just have that memory burned into your brain, and every time you listen to them, you think of being humiliated by Peter Garrett. And yeah, I was like, okay, I won't pester the man.
Upon reflection, do you think that was the right thing to do? Because I understand what you're saying. I feel like that's not the default setting by which you'd want to live your life, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, you don't want to live your life from a standpoint of like, oh, this could go really badly, so I better not do it.
Well, I mean, there are certain cases where, like I could jump off this waterfall with all these craggy rocks below.
With all these bald rocks.
Yeah.
These bald wiggling rocks.
I get what you're saying, though. And maybe if I had my time again, I'd do it differently, but I don't know. I did what I did.
And you don't regret it?
I made my bed. I'm going to sleep in it. It's burning. The bed is burning.
I've made my bed. I'm going to burn in it. Oh, man. Why do you hate Russell Brand so much? I ask this because he's fairly high on my list of people who had, like, if I got, like, dream guests, he'd probably be in the top 25. I wouldn't mind chatting it up with him.
It's funny you mention that because he's, like, fairly high on my list of people I'd probably wedgie if I was given the chance. I don't know. I never found him funny to begin with. Which is, I don't know, humor's subjective or whatever. And then, I don't know, there's just some people that, like, I'm just like, yeah, you're a fucking wanker. Like, it's kind of like a extrasensory perception. It triggers my wanker, like...
Wankda.
Yeah, and, he's kind of got this, like, whole, like, kind of self-help guru kind of edge to him now. And I'm like, I don't want to hear what you have to say. I think you're a fucking wanker. Like, so, and yeah, not getting into any of the politics or whatever. Like, it's purely, I've always just thought he was a wanker. He wasn't funny. He just annoys me on some base level. And maybe some people...
Lizard Bray says no.
Yeah. I think a lot of people probably feel the same way. Like, I feel like whether you pay attention to, like, what he's done recently or not, I think a lot of people are just like, yeah, he just rubs me the wrong way. Like, yeah. So that's it. I just like, I think he's a wanker. And not funny.
All right, thank you for sharing that.
That's okay.
And what did you think of Poltergeist?
The film?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's another one I've never seen.
That was a segue and a half. I liked it. My favorite part is the old lady who is like, I guess she's not an exorcist, like an exorcist for ghosts. But she's like this little old lady. She's cute. And she says, "This house is clean."
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, there's kind of like gnarly parts in it, but I don't really like supernatural horror that much. As we've discussed, I'm a geysers of blood and exploding heads kind of guy. Want to see people get hacked to chunks.
Is there like a certain like horror / supernatural thing, like aliens or ghosts or zombies, or like, is there like a particular one that like you find like more scary or like more freaky than the other ones?
I find like home invasion kind of horror films and premises kind of scary.
Okay.
Because I guess it could happen to anyone really.
Yeah, that is terrifying.
But yeah, otherwise, not really. I guess like serial killers are scary because like they're out there and you know. But yeah, like home invasion one's kind of like, you know, I do have some like kind of paranoid tendencies when I'm home alone or whatever, and those movies kind of play on that, I think, too. Like, but yeah, generally I like kind of horror films that are sort of like within the realms of reality.
Possibility. Did you see Signs?
Yes.
Yeah. That scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. Damn.
Yeah, everyone. I watched it with like a group of people, and they were all like hyping it up, and you know, the scene with the alien in the like a Mexican newscast or whatever, like everyone was like spooked out by that, and I was just laughing my ass off. I'm like, look at this guy, look at this fucking alien, like just slinking across the screen.
It brings me back to the Nightmare on Elm Street that we just watched. I just wonder if there was like a cinema full of people during that first kill scene that were like, but then there was like someone who was just laughing, like just out loud, just laughing at how funny the whole thing was.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, if you're like a horror fan, like, I don't think you watch horror movies to be scared. I think you watch it to see some like fucked up shit and laugh your ass off. Like, probably some kind of mental defect, but it's probably one of the better ones to have, I'd say.
Do you believe in an afterlife?
Damn. Zigging and zagging. Not really, no. I think I got to a point in life where I decided to stop thinking about the metaphysical. It's certainly interesting to think about, and it can lead you in all kinds of places, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, I'm pretty pragmatic, and I'm like, yeah, it's something I'm like, I'll deal with it when it happens.
Yeah, like it's irrelevant.
Yeah,
to what's happening here and now. You feel?
Yes, and like, I don't feel like I need the threat of heaven and hell to be a good person. And I just like.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be a heaven and hell situation.
Yeah, it's just like I find it really hard to envision like the idea of an afterlife. You know, there's like the theory of like, you know, in your dying moments you kind of live 1,000 lifetimes or whatever. You know, I could be doing that right now. Yeah, there's just endless theories and endless paths to go down, and I'm like, yeah, it's like I've thought about it in the past, and it occurs to me sometimes.
Yeah, they all equally take the same amount of faith to believe in them, because like ultimately we can never know.
Yeah. Yeah, and like, you know, when you are reflecting on your own mortality, that's definitely one of the things you think about. But yeah, I ain't spending any time on it. 'Cause meanwhile, so many people are being torn apart by crocodiles in far north Queensland.
Turning into bloody geysers of blood and guts. And so I guess this, maybe you already answered it in a way, but like the other part of that question could be like, do you believe in past lives?
Not really. I I met a fella in Hanoi who did, and swore in his previous life, his like directly previous life, he was a goat, and we were in this like Rastafarian bar in Hanoi, and
Oh, have some goat, please.
and yeah, you know,
I've
everyone
been
around.
so good, eh? Just if he says that, and then that's what you order for lunch, like.
And yeah, everyone there is like, you know, passing joints around, getting high. And I'm having this conversation with this Kenyan dude who was there about how we both don't smoke weed anymore because it scares us. Anyway, this dude who I told him to kind of his detriment that he sounded exactly like Alan Rickman, because he did. This
To
guy,
his detriment?
yeah, he was like, it was kind of like, oh yeah, I haven't heard that one before.
Well, he must have really sounded like Alan Rickman.
He did, yeah. I was like the whole I'd probably like hung out with him for about an hour and a half, and the whole time I'm like, who does this cunt sound like? And then it hit me. And I think when I said goodbye to him, I was like, oh yeah, has anyone ever told you sound like Alan Rickman? And yeah, he kind of, this crestfallen look.
After everything you'd shared.
Yeah, it was mostly him sharing, and I'm getting distracted here.
He had like a really great time with you, specifically also because of the fact that you didn't bring up Alan Rickman and then you just fucking ruined it all on the home stretch.
But yeah, this guy swore he was a goat in a previous life, and he like went around and he was like, "Here, feel my head. You can feel where my horns used to be." I did. I was like, "Oh, there's a bump there. That's probably your skull, brother." But the best part of that whole interaction, though, was there was this like Serbian dude off in the corner who was just silent throughout this whole thing, and the guy thought it was goat, and the Kenyan dude who didn't
thought he was goat.
And yeah, the Kenyan dude who didn't smoke weed were just having this heated discussion about life and death or whatever.
Oh, the goat guy.
Yeah.
And the Serbian.
No, the Serbian was silent. Kenyan guy.
Oh, okay. Kenyan guy was goat.
Yeah. They're having some kind of discussion, getting pretty heated, and then the Serbian guy in the background just pipes up and he's like, "Yo, this sounds like a bunch of people who've just taken meth." And it was like his first words in this weird little scenario in this like, fucking weed-filled room with about 5 or 6 people in it, with a guy who thought he was a goat, and yeah. So, bit of a tangent there, but don't really believe in past lives. I met someone who does, very, very, very convinced that they were a goat. It was very silly to behold.
Like, is it too much to ask for some sort of like impression as to how he was like trying to convince you?
I don't know. He was like,
he was like, "I'm telling you, bro. Like, no, like you don't. I'm telling you. I used to be a goat."
It was like a really pure sort of conviction. Like, yeah, like he had
to be a goat.
He had a bunch of other kooky ideas, and he was just so like matter of fact about it, but like not in like a pushy way. It was just like, this is what I believe in. Like, that was his. Yeah, and he was at peace with it all, and I just suspect he'd done too many drugs.
He was from Kenya.
No, he wasn't. He was British. This guy.
Oh.
Kenyan guy was in the Rasta bar.
Yeah.
Despite not smoking weed. And yeah, it was a fun night. That was my last night in Hanoi, and it was a great send off.
Was there much weed in Vietnam?
Yeah, plenty of people like selling it.
It's not illegal there or anything.
No, it's illegal. It's very illegal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, doesn't stop it from being sold in like touristy areas.
It's not as dangerous to get caught with it, like compared to, like, I know Singapore's fucking like death penalty level, isn't it?
I wouldn't want to be caught with it. But
Thailand was at one point.
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard that their laws have relaxed significantly, but I don't know to which degree.
I feel like a lot of these like countries that have harsh drug-related penalties, they turn a bit of a blind eye to tourists. I feel like there's a degree of like non-official leniency, but also like, I hear plenty of stories of people being set up by drug dealers, and like the drug dealer selling them something and then immediately telling a cop and busting this person. But I don't know. I don't like really smoke weed anymore, so I wasn't interested in trying to buy it.
I was just surprised that you heard it, because I guess I just have the default point of view that like you wouldn't want to be anywhere in Southeast Asia with any sort of drugs.
Yeah, no, it was like it was everywhere, like more or less, like in the touristy parts of the cities and stuff.
All right, I think we're good.
All right. On that note,
Thanks for hanging out.
that's all right, man.
Thanks for the first of hopefully many double features. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's always great to just sit down and watch a movie that you've never seen before.
Yeah.
I didn't know like what to expect all going in, and I'm glad that there was like a pretty tangible theme between the two movies in terms of like 80s horror, over the top death scenes. Like they fit together really well.
Yeah.
Certainly on the menu sometime soon is going to have to be Zardos,
Zardos.
but I don't know what would pair with that really well.
Oh,
But I need to see naked Sean Connery with a ponytail soon. Or
I'm sure I could find something. But yeah, it's really just, it's fun just saying Zardos. I'm pretty sure that's how the trailer says it. So it's
Zardos.
Zardos.
I feel like you haven't seen Edward Scissorhands either, have you?
No, not all of it.
Oh, you've seen part of it?
Yeah, like on TV or something. We could double feature Edward Scissorhands with Edward Penis Hands. The porno version.
I think I'm like okay with having not seen Edward Penis Hands.
Yeah, suit yourself.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for sticking with us this long, and thank you, Brayson Bagnallson, for your time. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you again soon.
Adios.
Peace.
Well, apology accepted, and this is something that I think we've all learned from. Everyone makes mistakes. You look around in society all the time. We just hope that our mistakes don't leave permanent scars. And I think things that you make mistakes and learn from become real positives in your life. We do things with a lack of judgment sometimes, but when you learn from those, I think they can improve your life.